In the past, the last few years, we've been hit by a lot of weather-related storms. But on March the 1st of this year, we may be hit by a financial storm, one that will severely impact our region. As you know, we have a large number of federal employees here. But the problems and the impact really go beyond that, to everyday workers, to our tax base, to small businesses, you name it, will be hit, and hit quite severely. Our uniform message this afternoon, at least this morning, is to inform you about the impacts of that, so that you can start to see a face and understand the impacts that will come as a result of the Congress' failure to deal with the sequester. We know that there are some serious challenges at the national level. We understand that a resolution must come soon, but we believe that time is now to act, that the impact to us cannot simply wait. We cannot continue to push this down the road. We need action, and we need a fair and balanced approach to resolve this. March the 1st, if Congress does not act to prevent the impending sequestration, our counties, the Washington, D.C. region, and the local jurisdictions, and the state overall will be hit. I want to thank my fellow county executives, Rushern Baker and Ken Ulman, as well as Council President Nancy Navarro and members from the local chambers joining us today. But to give you an indication of what we're talking about, in Montgomery County alone, 47,000 federal workers and thousands of businesses that contract with them will be impacted. In FY 2012, Montgomery County alone had $5 billion, I repeat that, $5 billion with a B, in prime federal contracting awards that will be adversely affected as well. The potential for 20 days of pay or reduced pay or pay elimination by federal employees will have a devastating impact. For Montgomery County alone, in terms of its tax base, each day, based on our estimates, is approximately $500,000. That's a day. Each day is $500,000. That's a huge impact. I want to thank our representatives at the federal level who've been working on this, especially Senator McCoskey, who has been working hard to pull together many of the people in our caucus and others to try to bring some sanity to this real difficult problem here. She has a very tough job. I'm joined today by members of the federal congressional staff, Ken McManus from Chris Van Hollen's office, Ken Richard from Senator Cardin's office, and Courtney Samuels from Senator McCoskey's office.
For us in Prince George's County, to give you a sense of the federal impact, is for us approximately $14 billion in federal spending annually in Prince George's County, approximately $3 billion in federal spending on salaries and wages in the county. 10 days of furloughs equal $120 million in lost income in federal employees for the county. Approximately $5 billion annually in federal procurement spending in the county. A 5% reduction in procurement spending equals $250 million in lost revenues to the local economy for us in Prince George's County. 10% of the county's job workforce are federal jobs. That's approximately 27,000 jobs out of almost 300,000 total jobs in the county. Approximately 16% of the county's civilian employees population, 16 years and older, are federal employees. Approximately 71,000 out of 400,000 total civilian employed population. A 5% reduction in housing choice vouchers program funding equals potentially 250 low-income families without financial assistance for their housing costs. Approximately $5 million in reduction in federal education aid. That's $1.5 million in special education aid, $1.5 million in Title I funding, $500,000 in Head Start funding, and $250,000 in teacher equality grants. That gives you a sense of the impact of this sequestration on Prince George's County. For us, like our surrounding jurisdictions, we depend on the federal government. The uncertainty that Congress is having on us right now is the biggest problem we have. We've just finished a couple of months ago going up to Wall Street and assuring them that we could survive what's going on at the federal level. What we can't survive is the uncertainty. So we need Congress to act, and to act strongly. I, too, want to add my thanks to Senator Mikulski and our federal partners for not only holding hearing, but to bring a face to what this is. These are not just numbers on a paper. This is not just petty politics between people on down on Capitol Hill. These are actual folks who will not be able to pay their mortgage, pay their rent, or teachers who won't get grants or housing vouchers that will go unfilled. So we want Congress to act, and we need them to act now and not to wait for March 1st.
You've heard from both county executives how important this is for Montgomery and Prince George's County. Howard County is in a very similar circumstance. In fact, almost 50,000 Howard County workers, almost 50,000 Howard County residents have a job that is tied to the federal government, either as a direct employee or working for a private sector company that does contracting work to the federal government. Much of that work is done through Fort Meade. You read the press this morning. You read about, whether it be in the New York Times or Washington Post or any of the others, about this new report that directly connects cyber hacking to the Chinese military. Could this really be a time when we're going to cut back the work that's done at Fort Meade? I mean, what planet are we living on that anyone would think it would make sense to reduce the workforce of people that are working every day to protect our networks from cyber hacking, cyber theft? I mean, I think for those of us here, we're on sort of parallel universes. We're working very hard to make sure our schools are strong and make sure our communities are safe and focusing on public safety. And at the same time, because of this federal uncertainty, we're sort of doing our jobs with one hand tied behind our back. We've got to get through this, and we've got to get through it quickly. This is about, as County Executive Baker just said, moms and dads who will wake up in a couple months and not have a job. This is about people who will be starting to take massive furloughs, layered on the fact that there is so much work that is spread throughout our communities, whether it be in Howard County. We have 6,000 people who work at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, which gets almost $1 billion worth of federal research grants, some in the military, some not in the military. Huge impacts. And yes, you're going to hear from folks from the Chamber of Commerce. Those are people who can't eat at a restaurant, can't buy a car, and it affects our economy throughout. So we're here to say we need a balanced approach, and we got to get it done soon. You know, we got a lot of hardworking men and women who are relying on their government at the federal level to do the job that they were elected to do.
I just want to highlight the work of the County Council in collaboration with Executive Leggett in the last 3 years. As we have navigated this very difficult time, what we did was to roll up our sleeves and look at structural changes to our finances as well as raise revenues. And it was not an easy task for us, but this is the reason why we can say that Montgomery County today starts to see a little bit of a glimmer of hope down the road in terms of our financial status and our economic recovery. Nonetheless, it is interesting to note that Montgomery County, a wealthy county, does have about 30% of its students qualifying for free and reduced meals. 80% of those students actually qualify for free meals. We are a county like many other across the nation who are trying very hard to do the right thing, to collaborate, to put politics aside, and to work very diligently to make the decisions that will put the county in its best foot forward. But we can't afford what's happening. We cannot afford to invest in our economic infrastructure and also invest in our social infrastructure if we're now in this holding pattern with the federal government and with folks in Congress not deciding to act. I will also say that, yes, Senator Mikulski, Congressman Van Hollen, our federal delegation has worked very diligently. We appreciate what they have done, but this is real for Montgomery County. We are definitely anxious in terms of what's going to happen on March 15th, the council will receive the budget request from Executive Leggett. We have no idea what will occur. We have no idea how many businesses are basically reevaluating whether they want to come to Montgomery County or stay in Montgomery County, or perhaps, address that expansion they've been waiting for. This is real for us here. And I think it's important to remember that this particular inability to act affects not just counties like Montgomery County, but also the country as a whole, as we are seen around the world as perhaps not being as strong and not being as decisive as we need to be in these uncertain times. So we urge our federal folks out there to act, Congress to act immediately, so that we can continue here in Montgomery County and many other counties, as you have just heard from Executive Rushern Baker and Ulman, to continue to do the very hard work of governing, which is what we were elected to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Social services, educational, health, safety, defense, our food supply, medical research, law enforcement, travel, nearly every aspect of our day-to-day lives will see an impact, reduction, and higher prices. To speak to those kinds of impacts, I want to hear now from the Chamber. We have both the Montgomery Chamber and the Bethesda Chamber of Commerce to come to talk to you as well. Gigi?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, County Executive Ike Leggett, and thank you, County Executives Rushern Baker and Ken Ulman, for being here. Not only is Montgomery County affected, but Metro Maryland is affected. These county leaders know that our Metro Maryland and our state of Maryland is the home to small business, veteran-owned businesses, women-owned, and every other kind of small business really dominates our economy. And sequestration is nothing less than an assault on small business. And we are calling on our national leaders to get this resolved so that we can move forward.
There isn't I think that there's less of an understanding about the domino effect the sequestration is going to have on the small businesses, the employees of all the businesses in all of our jurisdictions. Prince George's, Howard, Montgomery, we have a ton. It's primarily small business, but it's more than that. It's about people's jobs, it's about people's livelihoods, and it's about our communities, our neighborhoods. And people don't understand it yet. They will need to understand it. It's just as bad as the fiscal cliff. It needs to be taken care of now.
Every month we come to the brink of another impasse that is wreaking havoc with the confidence in the world of financial and political systems. It is time to put partisan politics behind us and do the right thing for the country and really for the world. Please do not hold everyone hostage as a game of brinkmanship continues. We need Congress to act and act decisively, to pass a long-term budget plan that will provide us with much-needed stability, one that does not sacrifice the poor and the middle class and continue to, in fact, be unbalanced. We hope that Congress will get the message. We hope that those in the everyday life throughout this region, from the federal employees to the everyday person on the street, will understand the potential impact of what will start on March the 1st.